All right, so today we're going way back in order to show you guys compression. We're actually going right back to the very location that I learned to compress the ball 20 years ago, okay? I worked with a great instructor. His name was Greg McHatton. He's probably the best golf machine instructor in the world. He coached Sean Foley, one of Tiger's coaches. He's coached a lot of great players, but he worked with me for a good 7 or 8 years. This is back when I was in college. And I was a good player, but I didn't really compress the ball. So we spent a ton of time on this very same hill, like literally hours and hours. I've got my pitching wedge out, and I hope you can appreciate I'm on about a 20-degree incline right here in the grass, okay? And what Greg would have me do, I've got my pitching wedge, he would have me hit shots because at that time, I was very much so a sweeper at impact. My hands were maybe even with the ball. I hit it pretty high and pretty far because I was pretty young and flexible and I'd swing hard at it, but I definitely did not have that professional ball flight. I didn't have that forward shaft lean. I didn't have a lot of lag coming down. I didn't post into my left side real well at impact. Things that great iron players did that I couldn't figure out exactly how they were doing it. You know, a lot of it, I had a good short game and I was able to hit it pretty high and pretty far, but it was nowhere near compressed, accurate, like throwing a dart. So what he would have me do and feel, and I would have you do the same thing, you're gonna see when you watch this first shot, I'm gonna basically have no follow through. I'm only taking a half a golf swing. I'm not hitting it very hard at all. And you notice how my club just sticks in the ground. My hands are pretty relaxed. I'm not grabbing it. I'm not pushing the club. There's so many of you out there are pushing the club through from the back of the shaft with your trail hand. I'm not doing that at all. I'm just letting it stick right there. And you notice when I stop, I've got probably 25 degrees of forward shaft lean, which is obviously too much, but exaggerations can go a long ways. Once again, nice relaxed swing. Put it right in the ground and the club sticks. So if you can get to a hillside like this, and you don't necessarily even have to have good grass, you can see the grass is a little long. It's all about getting the resistance of that hill to stop your golf club. So what I'm really learning and feeling there is what's called maximum trigger delay. I am taking my hands deep, 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 bang, release and stop, and they're way out here. So Greg felt that was always a good thing to have and learn, and he still does it to this day with his students all the time. Golf machine teachers, they start with impact. They believe in how important and valuable impact is. So everything they do revolves around improving that position. They'll even start there in the first golf lesson. They won't always show grip, posture, alignment. They'll just show you impact. So they're big, big proponents of what that felt like. And this is a really gross analogy, but I could feel it on that one. I could literally feel me squeezing the ball, it going oblong, out of shape, and then snapping back into its regular form. What I could feel is I can feel the club trapping it right against the ground, the club head trapping the ball against the ground, and the ball shooting out with more speed and more velocity. And it goes pretty high on this hill because of the slope. This is really gross, but I was in high school one time, there's this kid sitting in front of me, and he had a lot of acne. And he gets up and he pops a pimple, right? I mean, he's sitting in his chair, pops a pimple, and literally this thing hit a girl that was sitting 12 feet away, 2 rows away from him. And I was in shock. I was like, oh my gosh, that thing shot forever far. I didn't know that was possible. That's literally what we're doing here. So if you sweep the ball like this, you're sweeping through impact, you're not getting that same trap and compression from both sides. We're using the ground and we're using the club. And that was the first time that I kind of discovered that, was hitting on a hill like this. Trapping it against the turf and then the ball just shooting out. I always swept the ball, right? I always had this image of the club just brushing the grass and picking it up into the air, which is what most people do. Not really that sense of leaning the shaft forward and squeezing it against the ground. So I'm glad to be back here at Vista Valencia. This is where I'm teaching again, outdoors. We've got a fantastic grass driving range. If you're ever in the area and you want to come see me in person, come look me up. Other than that, get out to a hillside, work on your compression and impact. You'll see just practicing like this lightly will transfer right into your swing. It'll just naturally give you more compression and a different way to look at it, and you'll start hitting the golf ball much better. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, you're really interested in compression, I've got a whole teaching series just on compression alone, where we do kind of a deep dive on how to understand it, and then better yet, how to execute it consistently, and why it's so important, why that impact position, compression to gain distance. It's so hard to do these things, to hit it farther by trying to get stronger, swing faster. We can literally do it just by improving our mechanics and our positions through the ball and having better understanding. The ball just naturally goes farther. So for those of you that are a little bit older, that you know you're not really doing much more flexibility or athletically, improve upon your positions. Do it correctly and it'll go farther. All right, it's one of the only hacks left in the golf swing. I hope that helps you. I'll see you all next week. Take it easy.